for Shabbat. I pray that everybody is doing well. I want to prefix this. We're going to be talking about Esther or Vashti. I'm going to see a lot of Vashtis out here, but they want to call themselves Esther. So I want to prefix this particular live stream with Proverbs chapter 14, verse 1. And this one reads, Every wise woman buildeth her house. Sounds a lot like Esther. But the foolish plucketh it down with her hands. Sounds a lot like Vashti. We'll get in that shortly. Now, I often hear people calling themselves a Proverbs 31 woman, but there's nothing Proverbs about them, and there's damn sure nothing about the 31st chapter about them. They're just kind of out here doing things. So we're going to take a look at that right here. Proverbs chapter 31, verse 3. Firstly, this is for the men. Give not thy strength unto women, nor thy ways to that which destroyeth kings. Many men have been destroyed and have gone astray, all because of women. I myself have suffered this quite a few times throughout my young life. So now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes here. Proverbs 31, and we're going to start from verse 10, going all the way down to verse 29. All right, and it reads, Who can find a virtuous woman? For her price is far above rubies. The heart of her husband doth safely trust in her. Safely trust in her. So this means this woman has the trust of her husband 100%, which is a quality that you don't find too often nowadays. A lot of people are just out to get what they can get, out to get what they can get out of you, and that's just kind of it. So that he shall have no need of spoil. She will do him good and not evil all the days of her life. That means everything that she seeks to do is for the good of that man. Man, we talked about this before. God isn't selfish. He's not selfish. He's selfless. And he sent his son here to show us how to be selfless and not be selfish. Be right here in this word. A woman should be to her husband selfless. Everything that she do is for the good of that man, because she knows that what she does for that man is only going to profit her and her family. So she's sown into that man so that he can then bear even more fruit to sow back into the community, which will in turn help their family. Verse 13. She seeketh wool and flax and worketh willingly with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She bringeth her food from afar. She riseth also while it is yet night, and giveth meat to her household, and a portion to her maids. So she makes sure everybody get fed. From the book of Titus, a chasekeeper. She considereth a field, and buyeth it. With the fruit of her hands she planteth a vineyard. She girdeth her loins with strength, and strengtheneth her arms. She perceiveth that her merchandise is good. Her candle goeth not out by night, meaning even into the night she doesn't stop working. She layeth her hands to the spindle, and her hands hold the distaff. She stretcheth out her hand to the poor, so she's giving to the poor. Yes, she reacheth forth her hands to the needy. Sorry, Father. She is not afraid of the snow for her household, for all her household are clothed with scarlet. So she makes sure her household is ready for the snow. That's why she's not afraid of it. She maketh herself coverings of tapestry. Her clothing is silk and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sitteth among the elders in the land. So one thing these elders know, she got a good man, and that she works for her man. Just as we spoke about back here. All that she do is good. All her life is good. She doesn't do that man evil. How many people can say that? They don't do their man evil. Not many. She maketh fine linen and selleth it, and delivereth girdles unto the merchant. Strength and honor are her clothing, and she shall rejoice in time to come. Strength and honor. Everybody loves to say that they strong, they independent, but they have no honor. And what you call strength is just whoredom. Exactly what you call strength. Being a whore isn't strength. It is weakness. What did we read in Proverbs 14, verse 1? We read that a foolish woman will take her hands and tear down her own house. So strength and honor, where does her strength lie? In her head, which is the man. What did we read? Verse 12. She would do him good. Who is he? Her husband, her man, her headship. And not evil all the days of her life. So she would do him nothing but good. Nothing but good is what she would do all the days of her life. All right, so jumping back in here, we're going to go to verse 26. She opened her mouth with wisdom. What does the first book of Proverbs say? The beginning of wisdom starts what? With a fear of Yah. And that's a reverent fear of Yah. That's what the beginning of wisdom is. So she doesn't have that. She is without wisdom. Because we know wisdom comes from the Father. And in her tongue is the law of kindness. In her tongue is the law. Right here. She looketh well to the ways of her household, and eateth not the bread of idleness. So she's constantly looking for ways. How can I better this household? How can I make this household run even more efficiently? See, a good chasekeeper, so that her head does not have to worry about the household. If he's handling the big things, there should be nothing around here. Or if there is, it should be minimal that he should have to do. Her children arise up and call her blessed. Her husband also, and he praiseth her. Many daughters have done virtuously, but thou excellest them all. So that means you are topping everybody. You are over everybody. Many daughters are virtuous, but you are the head. You are over them, being even more virtuous. And I want you to understand, that's what a lot of people call themselves. That's what a lot of females out here call themselves. And it's truly hard to find that. It's truly hard to find that out here. It's just like the Bible says, they will confess with their mouths, but their heart is far from me. That's what Yah says. The Messiah says, their heart is far from me. They'll say it. And how many people call that out? So we got a lot of vashtis out here. So that should have set the ground for where we're getting into in the book of Esther today. So are you an Esther or are you Vashti? And we're going to start at verse 1, chapter 10. And it reads, on the seventh day. Now, I want to prefix this with Esther's name. Her original name, her Hebrew name, was Hadassah. And that's Hadassah. But this is talking about Persia and Media is where they were led into captivity at. So her Persian name was Esther, and it was derived from the Persian word star, which is, the Greek title for this book, Esther, and the Latin title is Hester. And I thought that was a little fun fact about Esther, that in Hebrew her name is Hadassah. So chapter 1, verse 10. On the seventh day, when the heart of the king was merry with wine, he commanded Mehuman, Biztha, Harbana, Bigtha, and Agatha, Zethar, and Carcas, the 7 chamberlains that served in the presence of Ahasuerus, the king, to bring Vashti, who was the queen at the time. Now they just had a banquet. Vashti put together a banquet for the women, and the king Ahasuerus put together a banquet for the kingdom here, but he's gotten drunk, and now he is calling for his queen, his wife Vashti. And I want you to see the description of Vashti. It says, before the king with the crown royal, to shew the people and the princes her beauty. So he's called his queen. Come up here, babe. Let me show them your beauty. For she was fair to look on. So she wasn't all that. She was fair looking, but that's still his queen. Verse 12, but the queen Vashti refused to come at the king's commandment by his chamberlains. So by his servants here, she failed to come. Therefore was the king very wroth, so he was mad, and his anger burned in him. Then the king said to the wise men, which knew the times, for so was the king's for so was the king's men, for so were the king's manner toward all that knew law and judgment. And the next unto him was Karshina, Shethar, Admatha, Tarshish, Meres, Marsina, and Mimikin, the seven princes of Persia and Media, which saw the king's face, and which set the first in the kingdom. What shall we do unto the queen Vashti according to the law? So they're asking that you called her, she didn't come. According to the law, what is this woman's punishment? Because she have not performed the commandment of the king, Ahasuerus, by the chamberlains. And Mamikin answered before the king and the princes, Vashti the queen hath not done wrong to the king only. So he said she only did not just do wrong to you, but also to the princes, to all the princes, and to all the people that are in the provinces of King Ahasuerus. So he's saying she didn't just disrespect you by not showing up, king. She disrespected all of us. And now we're going to get into a precedence disconset. For this deed of the queen shall come abroad unto all women, so that they shall despise their husbands in their eyes. When it shall be reported, the king Ahasuerus commanded Vashti the queen to be brought in before him, but she came not. Likewise shall the ladies of Persia and Media say this day unto all the king's princes, which have heard of the deed of the queen. Thus shall there arise too much contempt and wrath. So basically, people are going to look on this situation and say, this is going to set a precedent, meaning this is going to set a standard amongst the women in the kingdom against their husbands. That you're not supposed to listen to your head. And are we not suffering this today in the modern world? People are so quick to have an attitude, and naturally it's mostly the women that are so quick to have an attitude, because there's been a precedent that has been set for the past 30, 40, 45 years, I want to say. But it got started probably about 60 years ago. But it's been a precedent set that I don't have to listen to the head, but I can still reap the benefits of the head. But right here in verse 18, they're saying that this is going to breed much contempt and much wrath. So this is going to make a lot of people pissed off. Mainly the head, mainly the men that are the workers, the fishermen, especially during this time, that are doing the work in the kingdom. Verse 19, if it please the king, let there go a royal commandment from him, and let it be written among the laws of the Persians and of the and the Medes, that it be not altered, that Vashti come no more before King Ahasuerus. And let the king give her royal estate unto another that is better than she. So, let a commandment go out that the Queen Vashti, because she couldn't do the commandment, and all the king said was, "Hey, come here." He sent his 6 or 7 men. Hey, let Vashti know that I'm commanding her to come here, so I can show the people how fair she is. And if we're looking in the context of this, how obedient and how beautiful she is. Because a man don't marry no ugly woman, but she all right. She enough to She was enough to get the to become a queen. But this commandment going out, he said, okay, well, she can no longer come in my presence. This is what they're suggesting that King Ahasuerus put out. She is no longer to come in my presence. In fact, I will give her royal estate to one that is better than she. And when the king's decree, which he shall make, shall be published throughout all the empire, for it is great, all the wives shall give to their husbands honor. What did we just get through talking about in Proverbs chapter 31? About honor, right? About how a woman is strength in honor. Well, this is how you do it, by honoring your head. You know, I put a post out about a week ago. Shout out to Peter Rambo for that. You know, a woman's strength and how a woman's strength, especially into God, is how she honors her head. You know, I usually get a lot of women that are that are stuck in this right here, and I swear, I don't know if you guys understand this or not, but you're more like Vashti. You'd rather be disobedient and, or better yet, you just like the woman in Proverbs 14 verse 1. You'd rather be disobedient and be so foolish to tear down your homes with your own hands versus being wise and building the house and building the home up. But jumping back in here, all the wives should give their husbands honor, both to great and small. So that means even if he, even if he's standing outside a Home Depot, give that man honor. Or if he's the, president of a Fortune 500 company, or if he's running the stock market exchange, or if he's running J.P. Morgan, give him honor. In any sense, you give that man honor. And what is that? Follow his commandments. Hey, babe, I didn't like that chicken last night. Do you mind, you know, for me, just make chicken breast. I know the kids like it. Just make chicken breast for me. I like that better. Not, oh, well, shit, you gonna eat what I make, nigga. That's not how you honor your head right there. That's dishonoring your head. You guys are gonna end up like Vashti right here. You know, she because she was disobedient, she lost her royal estate because of disobedience right here. And in verse 21, the king says, "Oh yeah, go ahead and make that a decree." So now we're gonna go over to Esther, in chapter two of Esther. After these things, when the wrath of the king Ahasuerus was appeased, he remembered Vashti and what she had done, and what was decreed against her. So now this is the law. Law that her estate will be given to another one, and she is no longer to come in my presence. And I'm pretty sure men, you understand the greatest currency with women is attention. That's the greatest currency with women. They want attention. That's what they feed off of, attention. So especially during this time, this is a queen, so she's looking over peasants like, oh, well, I'm better than you. But now she's lost her royal estate, and she is no longer allowed. It did say that he divorced her, but she's relegated somewhere. Like, okay, well, this is Vashti's tower. She is not to come out here. She is not to see me. She's not to come over here into my tower. But now he didn't divorce her, so that means that that's still his wife. So no other man can go in there. But now she's no longer able to come back in the presence of her husband anymore. For the rest of her days or the rest of his days, whichever one go first. All because of her disobedience. This is her punishment. So verse 2 of chapter 2. Then said the king's servants that ministered unto him, let there be a fair young virgins sought for the king. And let the king appoint officers in all the provinces of this kingdom, that there may gather together all the fair young virgins unto Shushan the palace, to the house of the women, unto the custody of Hegi, the king's chamberlain, keeper of the women. And let their things for purification be given to them. Verse 4, let the maiden which pleaseth the king be queen instead of Vashti. So again, he didn't divorce her, he's going to replace her. So you won't be, you won't be my top anymore, Vashti. I got to find a woman that is, at this time, he's going to go get a virgin, which we can, most likely assume is younger, a younger model, as they say. Verse 5, now in Shushan, the palace, there was a certain Jew whose name was Mordecai, the son of Jair, the son of Shimei, the son of Kish, a Benjamite. So he's from the tribe of Benjamin, one of the 12 tribes of Judah. Also, the seed of Jacob, whose name was later changed to Israel. So this is an Israelite who had been carried away from Jerusalem with captivity. And why were they carried away in captivity? Because of the disobedience, which keeps happening all throughout history. When are we going to get together, Israel? Which had been carried away with Jeconiah, the king of Judah, whom Nebuchadnezzar, the king of Babylon, had carried away. And he brought up Hadassah, which is Esther. Her Persian name is Esther, so we call her Queen Esther. But her Hebrew name before she entered into Persia was Hadassah, his uncle's daughter, and her parents died, so her uncle took over. For she had neither father nor mother, and the maid was fair and beautiful. So I mean, she was fair, so she was submissive. She was submissive, and she followed command. She followed and honored her head, and she was beautiful. Vashti, it says she was fair to look on, so she was all right to look at. But Esther was beautiful, so she looked even better than Vashti, whom Mordecai, when her father and mother were dead, took for his own daughter. So her parents dead, now it goes to the uncle. So it came to pass when the king's commandment and his decree was heard, and when many maidens were gathered together unto Shushan the palace, to the custody of Haggai, that Esther was brought also unto the king's house, to the custody of Haggai, the keeper of the women. So they were gathering up women all over the province. Esther just happened to be one of the virgins in the area. Okay, that's very important. They were gathering up virgins in the area, so these were pure women. And the maiden pleased him, and she obtained kindness of him, and he speedily gave her thanks for purification. So Esther blew him away so much with her strength and her honor, which we read in Proverbs 31, verse 10 to 29. They said, I don't need to see nobody else. Esther's beautiful. She's it. Get her things for her purification, with such things as belong to her, and 7 maidens. So she was even given 7 maidens, which were meant to be given her out of the king's house. So he's giving her the best of the best. Mind you, we go back to Vashti, which a lot of people, and that's where I think a lot of this queen stuff comes from. Well, you a queen, you're a queen. Yeah, you Vashti, all right. That's exactly who you are. Vashti, and you've been put away. You can't come back into the king's presence no more. So your queenship has been revoked by the king. Vashti, when she was given honor to her king, she was a queen, and she had all the courts to do so. But Vashti's not a queen no more. Now Esther is queen out of the king's house, and he preferred her and her maids unto the best palace out of the house of women. Verse 10, Esther had not shewed her people nor her kindred. So she didn't show them that, hey, I'm a Benjamite. I'm of the tribe of Benjamin. I'm an Israelite or Jew. But really she's an Israelite. For Mordecai had charged her that she should not show it. So she was charged with not showing that she was of Israel, a Benjamite, or a Jew at the time. So she was charged with it. Now, at the time, this is she's been selected by the king. Did she show it? Did she disobey? Because currently, who her head is her uncle Mordecai at this point. Because she hasn't been purified, she hasn't been married yet, but she's been chosen to become the next queen over Vashti. She honored her head, which is her uncle, and she did not shew that she was a Jew or a Benjamite, which is of the tribe of Israel, an Israelite from the lineage of Jacob. So, are you Queen Vashti? Or are you Queen Esther? So I appreciate you guys tuning in for this quick lesson, and I think it's a good question to really ask yourself, ladies, especially reading from Proverbs 31 and Proverbs 14, reading about what a wise and good woman does and what the foolish woman does. One builds and one tears down. Scripture got so graphic as to say the good one that builds her house builds it, but the bad one that tears down her house, she literally does it with her own hand. She takes it personal in destroying her own house. So I'm going to catch you guys on the next one. I hope everybody has a very, very blessed Shabbat. I'm going to be taking a quick break here. I won't be posting anything. So you guys do me a favor. Any videos, especially on this channel, that you come across and you find value in, like, comment, and share those. And I will catch you guys when I come back. We're going to be diving back into the book of Revelation, because so many people have things to say about it, but I highly doubt that few people have actually read it to gain understanding. So we're going to be doing a couple of chapters in the book of Revelation when I get back. But until then, Shabbat Shalom for King and Kingdom. Take care.